Stay healthy, keep smiling, and don't borrow any money. We got a special guest on the phone right now. His name is Gerald Celente. Now, I want to share this with you because Gerald Celente is recognized by the major media as the truth in trends. All right? On geopolitical and economic fronts, Gerald and his Trends Research Institute are credited for the following major trends: panic in '08, the collapse of the Soviet Union, the last two recessions, the dot-com meltdown, the 1997 Asian currency crisis, the 1987 world stock market crash, increased terrorism, and a heck of a lot more. There's no reason for me to say anything more. He's been on Oprah. He's been on every major news channel in the world. We're real proud to have him on the Collector's Coach Show today. Gerald Celente, how are you today, my friend?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for sharing your time with us. And as again, you have obviously a phenomenal background here, but you're a publisher, you've written books. Maybe you can take a few minutes and share with us what you think is going to happen in the next decade. Or did you listen to the president speak today? What did you think about that?
I heard some of what he said. We have our publication is the Trends Journal, and the website's trendsjournal.com. And you could go back to our winter 2008 Trends Journal. Actually comes out in December of 2007. And one of the top trends was tax revolts. And I had predicted, and this is I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in this child stuff,
No.
Believing in a party. I'm an adult, and I've been around without going through my background. I'm at this for 30 years, and I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I was a government affairs specialist in D.C. during the 70s. So, I mean, I know what it looks like. And so when I say that we made this forecast under Bush, that there were going to be tax revolts and tax protests, and that new third parties would form. And this is long before the Tea Parties made it to the forefront. Right. So for one thing, I always get a kick out of listening to people say what is when they didn't see it coming, and then say what it's going to be after they got it wrong. And what happened with the Tea Parties, it's really the first shot of the Second American Revolution. So when I listened to Obama, and I was just going over some of what he said, I didn't read it, but it's funny you asked me about it. I didn't listen to it, but I was just reading part of his speech. And he said, in talking about the Tea Parties, he said, quote, I think there's a noble tradition in the tax protests in the Republican and Democratic parties of saying that government should pay its way, that it shouldn't be so big, that we're leaving debt to the next generation. All those things I think are healthy. All those things I think are a lot of BS. The Republicans and Democrats have been talking an empty line all my life. I'm not a kid. And this kind of thing really, as a Bronx guy originally, really gets me over the edge. Because whether it's war, lying about anything, they never stop lying. The Republicans, Democrats, healthy. Healthy. The only thing healthy it is making themselves fat and rich. Every one of them. You look at these guys, once they go into office, they come out, they're multi-millionaires, like this Tony Blair over there or Clinton. Guy's never worked a day in his life other than having a political job, and now is he worth $100 million? So then Obama goes on to say about the Tea Party, the problem that I've seen in the debate that's been taking place and in some of these Tea Party events is I think they're misidentifying sort of the culprits. And then Obama goes on to say, and so the challenge, I think, for the Tea Party movement is to identify specifically what you would do. It's not enough just to say, get control of spending. I think it's important for you to say, I'm willing to cut veterans' benefits, or I'm willing to cut Medicare or Social Security benefits, or I'm willing to see taxes go up.
How about congressmen don't get paid? How about cutting their pay?
Yeah, how about cutting their bait? Here's another one. Here's Celente's solutions. People say, you know, Mr. Celente, you predict all these terrible things are going to happen and all the things that are wrong. How can we make this right? I'll tell you how to cut veterans' pay. Stop the wars.
That's the truth.
Swallow that one, Obama. You know, they just sent, you know, the United States people are responsible for the last week of killing 71 Pakistanis with Predator drones since September 2nd. And they kill always, quote, suspected militants.
Right.
That's called extrajudicial killings. That's some guy pressing a button saying that they're going to blow up this house, and the people in that house are guilty because they perceive them to be. They're the jury, they're the executioner, and they're the judge.
Let me ask you a quick question here. And again, you follow these trends. And here's a trend that, you know, I started back in the 70s in Wall Street. I was a margin clerk, you know, when they had the pencil and the eraser. And so here I'm looking at money market assets at $2,800 trillion. Isn't that like a nuclear bomb sitting there? That someone has that control of that? I mean, they've created a disaster zone with cash. I mean, with that kind of money.
Exactly, and credit.
Right.
People buying, I'm old enough when people in my parents' generation, they bought things they could afford to. How about that for a radical situation?
I mean, the banks are running us. The banks own the country.
What Obama asked me about his speech.
Right.
And so here's Celente's solution.
Go ahead.
Cut the defense budget. Stop these wars. We're fighting wars for fake reasons. There were no weapons of mass destruction, ties to Al-Qaeda, and the combat mission didn't end. Americans still getting killed, a couple right after, and they're still fighting in Iraq. Number two, no more subsidies for the rich guys. No more tax breaks, loan guarantees for the big developers. No more special deals for your friends. And I want to make this really clear. I'm sick and tired of hearing the word campaign contributions. How about bribes and payoffs? Could adults say that word? So that's number two. Cut the loans, subsidies, tax breaks, these stadiums, on and on, you go down the list. Number three. No more tax breaks for the religious organizations. As Jesus Christ said, render unto Caesar what Caesar's. Pay your taxes. You're bringing in money like the rest of us. Pay your fair share. The same thing with these so-called non-profit organizations. You want to balance the budget? 3 easy ways of doing it. They got guys over here from the museums in New York City that are living in $2 million penthouses. So give people who give those people charitable organizations. But the people that are bringing in the money and making money off people, let them pay taxes like everyone else. Render unto Caesar what Caesar's. Make it an even playing field. You'll balance the budget.
When we look at all these things, Gerald, first of all, I'm talking to Gerald Celente. Please give your website again, if you please.
Yeah, trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. And I also want to mention that, you know, the Trends Journal is to prepare people for what's coming ahead. If you're going to believe the nonsense, you know, it's like you know, how are we going to solve the healthcare problem? If you eat at McDonald's, you think Domino's is pizza or Olive Garden's Italian food, then, you know, you deserve to get what you have. If you drink Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and you fatten yourself up on this junk, and then you get sick, it's your own trip. I don't want to pay for it. It's very hard to stay healthy. Put your money where your mind is. Buy quality. Look at this egg thing that went on over here. Trendsjournal.com is our website, but I'm making the point is that the Trends Journal is to empower people. It's not about fear. Anybody that eats eggs from these companies, and I love the names like Hillendale Farms, Sunnydale Farms, they sell, we call them, what, 500 million eggs? These are factories, chicken coop concentration camps. How about Auschwitz farms? Mass-produced, mass-consumed, mass murder. When did people start eating this junk? And then they wonder why they're sick. So also what I'm going to say is that we're going to go into the worst economic times. They're just about to happen. The system is going to collapse.